Okay, now we're recording. You want to start over again, Oscar?
Maybe he doesn't want that out there.
No, I don't mind saying this because I'm putting in my. I'm trying to be respectful, but what I'm saying is like you know, it's one unto Coconut Grove. I was not panicking, but now it's 5 shows or 6 shows in a row with just moving big ticket items. If that person doesn't show up, you don't have a good show.
Uh,
And and people, artists in general, are not treating the people with low end work or the B artists with equal respect. They are being too arrogant, or they think that that's not their problems. If they're doing well, they don't care about anybody else, and that's kind of the issue, And my thinking is, if you charge a high gate fee, only certain people can walk into the show. Those people are looking for something to impress their friends, and there's like going to be big paintings and things like that,
Well,
and
that's the way Ann Arbor used to be.
you know,
It was status buying something at Ann Arbor.
it was.
so it's just I keep saying to people that it's going to hurt them sooner or later, because no matter what you say, there's more people making about $100,000 at the most than people making 250,000, and even less people making half a million. And the people that make $1 million a month or more doesn't come to the shows. So I don't blaming any particular director. I'm not saying there's a director issue. I don't want to say that what happened in the Grove, all the stupid issues they have with the parking, with the new people running the show. There was a uh, this was another thing that was interesting. Even I was hard pressed about it. They said the security people only speak Spanish, and it's really hard if you don't speak Spanish to talk to them. And or the other thing that I sometimes I feel like it, they don't want to talk to you in English. They just want you to talk in Spanish to you, and it's really really frustrating. And I don't know how many artists was pissed off about it, but the the show in general, when I start seeing a drop on sales from 60 to 100 prints to just 20, that tells you that that person down there was not there,
That
and
market is gone.
our market is gone.
Which show is this? Where?
Coconut Grove.
Oh, Coconut Grove.
As far as the security only speaking Spanish, that the show director can control that.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of things are out of the any director's control, because she doesn't hire the security people. She doesn't hire the people. They were saying, one person said to me, "We are the people that put the show. Camille only does the artist stuff." And I'm going like, I thought that the main thing about the show was the artist, because you don't have no music stage, so you only bring food. So when hear that also, um, I just feel bad, because she worked so hard to get to the show to this level, and in one year
Yes.
just flipped the script completely. And I'm not blaming her. It's just that I'm pretty sure it's not her. So
Well, just like she said, she had to raise the gate fee to cover, I can't remember what cost it was.
everything went up 20%
Hey,
her.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm going to say something.
Say it.
You know what? The artists are stupid. Like, come on. She raised the gate fee, but nobody said, oh, well, she said it cost 1.8 million, but no, none of those idiots, and I mean this really strongly, did the math. Oh, well, let's see, 30, let's say it was 35 because some people it was 39 and some people it was 25. So let's say it was 30. Okay, so 200,000 people come to the show. Multiply that out. That's $6 million. Where in the hell is the other $4 million? And they all just like sat there with their thumb up their butts. Come on, think about it. There's no reason for it to be $30 or $35. You know what? You know what happens? Less people come. I did the show. I think Bonnie did the show when it was free, and there were 750,000 people that came. And then they started adding $5 gate fee, and then added more and more and more. And at one point they said, best most people we've ever had, 200,000 people. So, and that wasn't that long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So my question is, where's the fucking money? Well, I do know where it is. The problem is so I'm looking around. So I hear that they had a new promotion team that ran the show. Well, you know what? They're out for their own money, like most of Florida and maybe most of the country now. And the show ran great, and every show runs great when you put the artist first. And my impression was we're just there to draw people in and have make money, and nobody's thinking about it. Now, there were plenty of people, I don't know what percentage, but it wasn't the majority. There were some people that did really, really well. Okay. So when they're doing the promotion or like advertising, this is what they're saying. Okay, but they're ignoring the other. Listen, I talked to a lot of people who aren't coming back, and stuff. I blame Bonnie Blandford because she was on the jury. Okay, that's a joke, Bonnie. I don't really mean that. I just said it.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to shut up.
So how was the show for you, Barry?
I am not talking about that. All I'm going to tell you is that I've done 3 shows in Florida, and the first 2 shows were the 2 worst run, worst quality crap I've ever seen in my life. It exceeds 40 years of stuff. Poorly run. I blame the directors, not unlike Oscar, and having the inability to know the first thing about the arts or to getting better people. I'm seriously consider blowing off Florida for, because, it could be really in a year. Who knows how bad it could be around here or anywhere.
And that's the thing to me is like everything start looking. Are we heading? Because we are the first one that feels it, like Barry said. And I start thinking about it more because it's something that people want, and it's in the first thing cut out if you don't have the money. And we might be heading to a recession next year or maybe a depression. I don't think that people are spending money, and
Well,
that will come to put a bunch of people out of business.
wealthy people are spending money, and they'll have the money to survive this thing. But the dichotomy between the haves and the have-nots are so much greater now than it ever was. I think. I don't know. It's just my perception. It might not be right.
Client told me that they're going to make that she's super wealthy. She said, I'm going to make money no matter what situation happens. But the little people are going to get screwed royally.
Well,
and I didn't want to believe that, but
there's some truth to that.
Who said that?
I cannot say her name because we are
recording. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. And I want to address the parking lot thing. And the inability to communicate with the person that's supposed to be taking care of that. And I tried to tell Camille this, and she just drove right away. This is like right in the beginning when it started. I set up, and of course I'm late. It takes me forever. So when I got to the park, the where we park, where we paid to park, there were two rows. There was this whole big field. There were two rows of artists parked, and nobody bothered to leave a path to the rest of the parking
Oh,
parking.
you're kidding.
And the guy that's supposed to be in charge of that was just sitting there like a slug, you know. And so I went to go ask him what the deal is, and he speaks Spanish. He doesn't speak any English, or at least he said that. So it's like he was useless. He's supposed to be there to help, and it's useless. So here's the thing. So on the other side was RV parking, which you paid $300 for or whatever. We paid $50, and then beyond that was the marina. Okay, so people that pulled in that couldn't get over to the other side, they went to the RV side. That was a natural thing. Hey, listen, after you set up, and it was exhausting. It was really hot. The woman next to me had heat stroke. Well, almost had heat stroke, and I almost had heat stroke. I had to sit down and drink a gallon of water and rest before I could go finish setting up. So it was really bad for us Northerners, and so you get to the parking, and you're exhausted, so where you just want to go to the first place and pull in and go to sleep or whatever. So you know, so people were parked in the illegal, where they weren't supposed to park. Whereas if there was a path to get to the other side, it would have that solved the problem. And I just happened to be the last one in to get the last space in there, in the in that these first two rows.
But
As it turned out, there was another gate, and it looked locked, but it wasn't locked. Nobody bothered to open it up, and then you could pull into the other spaces. So that's how that occurred.
the thing with the parking lot, um, is you're not going to have a person to tell us how to park. You have to mark the parking lot, like I make it like a parking lot, mark it up with spray paint or whatever you want to use, just so we know we have some kind of order how to park. I
Yeah.
know it would take time, but it would have solved half of the problem. The other thing, the person that's in security should make sure that the people are getting in there have have paid for being there, because according to Camille, there was a bunch of people that parking the parking lot back there that didn't pay for it. Then they sent the first overflow on Saturday to the marina section. And the marina people told them they had to get out of there because they were going to get told by 1 o'clock at the latest. And and other people had to pay. Then finally on Sunday, on Monday, I mean, they finally figure everything out for the parking. But when I went on there on Sunday night, I got Mark. Um, he's the one that does the jury with us sometimes, Bonnie. He parked right behind me. I got another artist that blocked myself with the trailer, so I can't even pull back or the side. Then when I came back, I got 3 cars in front of me, so I was totally trapped. So if I have an emergency in the middle of the day, I would have been screwed. So it's it's I don't
Yeah.
know. And you can overlook that stuff if nothing in the show was going on. And the traffic, it was bad. I going to tell you flat out, the traffic was down. I, I when I met Barry for the first time in Coconut Grove, you can see the fence in front of you when the people was walking in front of your booth.
Yeah.
You can,
Wow.
and other
That's how
years,
many people were there. That was years ago.
and and even the last few years, when you do the show, the only time they will look a little more spacious is when you get to 27th Street and Bay Shore, because that's where the thing wides enough. But you will, when I was in the Pan American, you will look to Bay Shore and it will look empty. at the same time that my section was empty. It's no way that they got a lot of people in there. It's no way. And the response when you ask another artist, hey, how's traffic over there? They say, oh, you worry about stupid things. Why are you thinking about those things? You only need one costume to make your show. And I'm gonna go, well, I need a couple of those to make the show because then I will have to sell a couple to make the show worth it will be $10,000. I don't have a $10,000 painting.
Well, there, there, there were those people there, but there weren't enough of them.
It's not enough. That's the thing. It's not. You will need 250 people at least, and each one go one person per booth and spend that kind of money in each person booth. That's not going to happen. It's unrealistic and selfish. And my opinion is honestly, if I get to Mardi Gras next year, I will do Mardi Gras with Coconut Grove. Even I will even apply to Coconut Point with Howard Island instead. That's where I am right now. Because I cannot. It's $900 booth fee, $50 parking fee, $50 to jury fee. If you don't pay your booth fee in the first hour that they respond, you cannot get a corner. A double booth is $1,800. That's insane amount of money. And yes, I know a bash show in Coconut Grove still will cover all the expenses, but I need to make a living out of this. So this weekend I didn't pay anything for myself. I lost money in this weekend. So
And there were people that did 20,000, 25, 40,000. You can do that if you have the right stuff. It seemed to me it was all paintings or wall stuff. Hey, Bonnie, you let somebody in, and I know you know this guy because I don't remember his name. He does metal with melted glass on it. I didn't think they were that great, but you know him from I think he lives in Midland, Michigan. So and he's a guild member. So it was his first time doing Coconut Grove, and I thought he was going to fall on his face. And he comes by after the second day and said, "I've been killing it. I did 23,000 in the first 2 days." So you know who I'm talking about? That I described. Okay, well, okay. I I don't know his name,
no, I'm telling you, there's people that did really good, but though I would not recommend it. If you don't have big ticket items, I would not recommend this show to anybody right now.
All the heavy hitters that I know that always do really well and win the awards. Well, I don't think they were winning the awards, and they did about half of what they usually do.
I know Tony Iteran did really, really well.
Who?
Tony Iteran. But I was joking with
I don't know who that is.
With Tim Peters because another person was telling me he did really well. And I said, oh, but he been selling a lot of paintings. And we both turn around and told him, if Tony is doing bad, we are screwed.
Tony the glass guy?
No, Tony Iteran. He does. He's Asian, long hair. It has a double booth and has always. I think his wife. I think his daughter is, and the daughter of the wife and the spouse of one of the two always helping him at the shows. If you're a painter, you know who he is. For sure. He has the big paintings that are almost 8 feet by 10 feet paintings.
How did Tim do? Tim Peters.
I didn't ask him.
I don't think any Potters did well. I know Paul Giselskis did horribly, and there were plenty of people that said they were never coming back that have done it a lot. So I don't ask everybody, but I know I have a lot of friends there. It was kind of cool. That part was cool because I saw people I hadn't seen in a long time, and even Woody, Woody the wood guy.
Woody Harrelson? No, not Harrelson.
No, I know,
Woody,
I
yeah,
know
the
what
guy
you're
that
talking
does
about.
the
The mechanical toys.
the
yeah,
mechanical.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen him in years. I love
I
that
know.
man.
I ran into him. He was there. I mean, there was a lot of people that that flashes from the past. I know that Amos Amit did really well because he was posting every sale on Facebook, and which annoyed me.
You
And
know,
he won a top prize, so so he did well.
you know
Uh,
the funny thing with all that is that and I should do whatever I feel like it, but um I became really reserved the last 2 years with people, and I keep cutting people out from my like if I see them, I run the other direction. I don't want to interact with them or anything like that because every time I interact with them, it's something negative, and I don't know if they get a kick out of it or not. But uh, there's some
No,
people
it's not me. I'm not connected
right
to
here
that.
past weekend,
so
and
I'll give you I'll give you their phone number.
Larry, can you mute whatever you're
I'm
doing,
trying
please?
to. It's not muting.
Okay.
so okay, New Smyrna Beach. How bad was that? They fired the director after setup. The whatever
Wow.
the committee or the whatever the art center, they fired her after it was so bad. um and I guess they, I watched a video from a couple of years ago when I was deciding whether to do this, and it looked really good. Well, it turns out that that person named Nancy, who actually ran it, that actually gave it a good reputation, left, and they replaced her with this woman, and who really did not know what she was doing. And you'd think that they'd have a whole year to decide, oh, she's maybe we should replace her before the show, to save the show. And no, so they, like for instance, when I got there, my my booth wasn't marked off, you know,
Lovely.
in my number there was like four of us in the same area, and it wasn't marked off, so I had to go over and get somebody and come back and mark the four off, and hopefully I was in the right spot. That's kind of how it started.
but I'm going to say flat out honest with you. Other than the only show, and I had to say it's really really weird. I'm kissing ass. Fort Myers by Head Down is the only show that I have.
Yeah,
No,
kissing ass, I love it.
It's
it's
the
the
only
only
show.
that I work out really really well.
Oscar, it's what about it being the only show?
The only show that worked out really well, that
For
was
him.
everything perfect, it was Fort Myers. I didn't have
Good.
no headaches. Even if I have bad sales, I still would be like, okay, it was me. Uh, that was the only show that I did over 5 figures, even with the $2,000 return, Barry.
Five figures. Let's
Yeah,
see. Let me count on my hand. What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
it's the only show that I did that kind of money. Every
Yeah.
Five
single
Well,
show.
fingers or 5 figures?
I didn't do five figures in three shows put together.
Oh
But
my
you,
God.
but you have to know that the first two shows were totally bombed.
Images was a joke.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna write to them and ask for my booth feedback.
I just think that was
Now,
a really,
now I
I,
don't expect to get it, but I'm just not so subtly making a point.
you know, I got accepted to Carlos Swayze show, and I wish I, I was doing it, finishing the show, and then I go like, I should have done Carlos Swayze show. I should have done Carlos Swayze show. That's the only thing. It's my fault that this happening because I got better choices, and I came to do it because this is established show. You know, I it's totally on me, but it that was horrible. And then Naples New Year was traffic was not there. It was really slow, and then you know, traffic was slow also, but I saw 48 too. That made a big difference. So, but I don't
It's
have
hard.
to tell people one by one.
It's hard to tell about the Florida shows because some people are afraid. They're afraid to say something, so they'll just say they did well, even though they didn't do well. But privately, didn't hear much about any of the Florida shows being any good. And listen, Coconut Grove was good if you ignored some things, but it used to be great. It used to be great for everybody, not just for a few people.
I,
That that's what I'm. That's what you know. That's if this was say Bonita, what happened in Coconut Grove, I would say okay, I have a good show. But for the Coconut Grove show, it was pathetic. It was no other way to say it. It was really bad. So, like I say, I don't blaming anybody. I just saying like you know,
Yeah, well, for me, if I had the right work, it would have been fantastic. So it's on me.
I don't, it's not on you. They need to. I think. Well, my opinion is they change. This, let me put it to you this way: what happened this week? It remind me what happened to one of the Can Chicago. When one of the Can Chicago came in the first time, it was to show
Uh-huh.
artwork, emphasizing original artwork. Year two, they added photography, so I applied to the show, and it was good. When Kathleen Hogan took over the show, she changed the show from fine art to a holiday show, and she make it up like a holiday show because that's what her vision of the show should be, or
You
maybe
mean
that's the way to make
don't
more
you
money.
mean commercial enterprises?
You can say that. So it's I I don't want to I know the painters hate photographers. It's really clear of that. I'm not going to
Really?
yeah.
That's not true.
We don't hate you. We don't hate you, Oscar. At
Uh,
least at
Now,
least I know
photographers
Marianne
hate
doesn't.
painters.
hey, Roy, you're not a painter. You can't say anything.
No, my wife is, but
That's
we
right. That's
my,
right. Your
my
wife
wife,
is. Stop right there.
she is a painter, and you know what? We have never said anything about photographers. As a matter of fact, she loved photography. So, um,
Yeah, so
I
do I.
mean, yeah, she when she was getting her bachelor's of fine arts, she was in the dark room back in the day.
Hey, you couldn't get into shows without good photography, no matter
Wow.
what your medium is.
Yeah, yeah, and personally, me as an ex photographer, I'm a big fan. So
I just going to bottom of the line. I just think that I they has to be a balanced show. If they want to be all like almost art painters want to be all the shows like a Rittenhouse Square, and that's fine, but then you're going to end up with more shows and more mix, more send, and I don't know. I really don't know. I hope that things and I hope that things doesn't get any worse economically for anybody else. But it's looking bad in my eyes right now. But I don't say that I'm right. I don't say that I'm wrong. I just going from what I see.
Hey, we'll see. Tomorrow is I get my Social Security check, or somehow they put me on a list and I'm done.
Well, I don't see them. You know, honestly, I don't see if they do that. Barry, it's going to. I don't want to be them.
Listen, if that should happen, not I don't think it's going to happen. I'm saying that kind of tongue in cheek, but they're these musketeers are they're trying to get into all these private information that's been sacred, and if that's the case, if that is ever the case, I got to find a place to live because I'd have a target on my back. Not that I've done anything to not you know to deserve that, you know. But you never know. You know when they go after people, they also the problem with that is they go after innocent people too.
I know.
You know, so and that's one of the reasons why there's safeguards in America for this kind of thing.
So I, you know, back to the the shows. Uh, I really hope that they improve. Uh, I don't do them bad overall, to be honest with you, but it's not like I kind of put right now. I kind of save money, basically. That's what the problem that I'm having. Um,
Hey, I want to hear from Court. Court hasn't said anything today. Hi, Court.
What's up, Barry?
How you doing? Sorry to wake you up. But
No, uh, you know what? It's going to get worse before it gets better. And
you
we'll
think?
see probably maybe this summer, this fall, we'll see a little bit of those small sales come back. But until the middle class gets their money back, I mean, it's gone at least for the next 4 years.
Is that what you
Those sales
think?
are all gone.
Well, that is what you think.
And I think Coconut Grove is a perfect example of what's happening everywhere. It's not Coconut Grove. It's not Florida. It is going to happen to everybody. And I just sat here, watching everybody talk about what's happening in the Florida shows, which is kind of a continuation of what I've been watching the last few years. And I'm on the wait list for Brookside. I got a jury pass for St. Louis. I'll apply to um, Plaza because it's close, and that's probably going to be it for me for this year.
Yeah, I got to find somebody on the jury that I can bribe so I can get into St. Louis and Kansas City.
And then I am going to, um, I've got to look at some stuff. There's a $15,000 artist grant through Mid America Artist Alliance that
Yeah,
is for artists to create new work. I'm gonna, I'll spend time doing grants, applications, and working on this new work I'm working on and some other things. Because I'm scared to death of, I have no money. I mean, so I can't just go and keep doing this because it
yeah,
isn't paying off for me. And especially with the way sales are going, I'm not even going to try.
yeah,
and that's the what that's what I told people. I was saying like I need to wait until Coconut Grove because that will give you a better idea. It's just a little show versus a big show, and when you see the same problems at that show, you know something is off. And and
yeah. As long as they're talking about that, I have a stash of money that built up from after COVID. Luckily, I when people were still scared to do shows, I dove right in, and it was good. And it's been really good up until last year, 2024. And I kind of just broke even. So I didn't add to the coffers. And this year, as if I have a decent
that's what
wherever I'm going, Gasparilla, then I will have a little more money, but at least I didn't go backwards. But boy, that it is scary. Isn't it scary?
And
When you could like spend all your money and not have any.
and
Yep.
Yeah.
I cannot keep cutting any more things. I'm down to just the basic things, and I need to take care of my mom also, which is something that I don't tell people, but
Yeah.
I support my mom. I help my sister as much as I can financially. It's a bare minimum that I need to come out every month for them. Uh, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people doing the same thing, and I just don't know. I'm really really worried. You know, I I was looking at what shows I was getting in. If I don't get it in, I'm not going to force issue. I'd rather stay at home and do installation and they keep
Yeah. Well, that's
throwing money
viable.
to, and you know,
As long as you keep getting
throwing money
customers or
to
get
something.
a business, that's what you should do.
But the thing is, I should have known better when I should have know got the hint basically uh when I went to that business and everything that was hanging the wall was from home goods or a furniture store. That's what I should have known right there on that point. So th- that's my take on that. So, but you you always hoping for better, and we see what happens.
Yeah. I really love the artists. I can't say enough good things. For instance, I've had I've had my friends try and now they're actually shaming me because I still haven't done it, but to do wall pieces because that's what sells. And I've had all kinds of offers of people showing me, because I don't know about the glues and the wood and what to use, and they're all offering all kinds of help to get me going on that. And these are people that I'd be competing with. So I just think that's really great. It's really nice. We have a really good community.
We do.
Barry, I mean, I don't really see any other artists that I compete with.
That's true.
Nobody is doing the same thing that I'm doing. Nobody.
I have
So,
that same problem.
um,
Well, Barry, I know how to fix your problem.
There you go. Okay, Bonnie, when I get home, I'll send you the stuff, okay?
Okay, I've heard. Yeah, I've
I
heard this
promise
before.
this I will.
Okay,
I do think
I
about it
will.
all the time.
I will hold you to it. I'll
Really.
get off my sick bed to do this for
Are
you.
you sick? Are you
Oh,
not
I've been.
feeling well again?
Oh, can't you hear it in my voice?
I do.
I have no voice. Yeah, it's been a rough go.
I saw your
So,
post, but I thought it's just because you were talking a lot.
no
No?
talking at all.
Oh, no.
So, okay, I'm going to sign off because,
Yeah, because you got a long Thursday coming up, and then a
yes.
long week next week. Then I totally forget about it. I was planning to go to see my cousins and my friends in Orlando, and then I saw the schedule, and I was like, "Oh fuck me."
Hey, I'll take your place.
Nope, I enjoying that. So
Well,
I know.
I have the garage sale art fair this weekend. So I'm trying really hard to get healthy.
well,
So
hey, just feel
Bonnie,
better, Bonnie.
great seeing everyone.
Hope you feel
Yeah.
better soon.
Yes, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I'll be back again.
Nice seeing you, Bonnie.
Thanks, Larry.
So what's next in Florida?
I got Gasparilla.
Yeah, that's it for me.
I got Gasparilla and Backup Ranch, and then I'm going home. And tomorrow, after I deal with an issue that I have, I need to call the doctor to see if I can get an appointment to check my neck again. So,
I think Gasparilla is like the middle of March.
2 weeks
first
from
week,
not this weekend, but the weekend after.
Okay.
yeah.
It's the first and the second.
You know, another thing, Barry, that anybody was asking you if you was going to do South Miami.
No, nobody would ask me that.
I got a lot of people asking me about that if I was going to be in South Miami, and I keep saying no to them.
Really? People? You mean people that were coming by?
Yeah.
Well, they would have had to come into my booth actually after they asked me that.
You know, I'm wondering if I should do next year Mardi Gras instead of doing Coconut Grove, just do South Miami, because if they keep the gate fee that high, they're going to, if people want to buy artwork, they're going to just go to South Miami the next weekend.
Might even go up next year.
I still have to come because I'm not going to spend winters in Florida in Chicago. I'll tell you that.
How
Imagine
much was the gate fee?
$39. Next year it'll be 50.
That's what I said
That is ridiculous.
at the show. I said that. That's what I said. I talking to.
Pretty soon they'll be paying the same as your jury fee.
Yeah, well, and complaining that they don't have enough money.
I quite honest with you, I think that most artists will be happy to pay a little more for the booth fee. If the gate fee goes down, but I don't think that they're going to do that. There's
Wait a
no
minute.
way in the name of God.
You didn't even bring up what it costs to get a lemonade or a hot dog or whatever that they had. It was just ridiculous.
I forgot that happened
Glad
before
we
Larry
didn't get
was
in.
recording. $18 for a smoothie.
Yeah.
Glad
This
we
side.
didn't get in.
But here's the thing, and I learned this a long time ago when I was a lot younger, and my parents moved from Kansas City to Los Angeles. And I, was getting out of college and looking at the cost of living in different places and housing and things like that. It's just flat out some places are more expensive than others.
Miami is an expensive place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand that. But when the people buying the drinks are saying, I wanted to go and get one, and the person comes say like I said, well, you got the smoothie, and she say, oh, in that booth, but they are $18 and they're way overpriced. Should not be more than $10. That's what they pay when I.
Even
It
$10.
hasn't been $10 since let's see,
Reagan.
15 years ago, 10 years
Since-
ago.
Since
No,
Reagan was
what they
president.
were saying, if
That's right.
something made in the restaurant will cost $10, this is insane.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
When I did Plaza last year, the food there was not cheap. And they had, tons of the restaurants, all the restaurants in the area have booths and stuff. And,
Yeah.
stuff that I remember spending $10 or $11 on before is now, $20.
No,
Well,
I
the show also gets a percentage of that.
So listen, I don't want to say this about a specific show, even though you can guess. When when you get a new director or not necessarily director, but whatever the entity is that's putting on the show, and they're sensitive to the artists, or they are artists, every element is directed towards how can we make this good for the artist. If you are an event planner or just a corporation or something, it's how much money can we make for ourselves. Now, that wouldn't necessarily be bad, but if you don't understand what the artist needs, which how would they if they were just an event planner? Then they're just going to create the entity that they can make themselves as much money as possible. And once you do that, it's hard to get them to change because they're patting themselves on the back and say, "Look at all this money we made for ourselves," without thinking about the artist. Unfortunately, it changes because it only works if you have really good artists coming, because if you don't, then people stop coming. Well, it's expensive to go. They stop coming. Now they would come if what they saw was unique or special. But if those people aren't selling, then they leave, and then there'll always be plenty of people to apply because people go, oh, I finally got in. It took me 10 times to get in. I'm not going to not go. But it's a little lesser quality, and then it's a slippery slope. Then the people go, why should I pay this much money to see this? I can see that down the street or whatever. So it every year it gets less and less and less, and most shows are like that. The ones that have always maintained themselves, like St. Louis, um, they put the artist first, and that's
Point.
you know so
So
that
whose
to
fault
me,
is that, Barry? Is that the board of directors
yes,
who set the tone?
yes, because they're not thinking about the artist. All I'm saying is that, well, I don't want to. I just tell you, in the old days when you do Coconut Grove, it would be amazing when you got there how they were welcomed you and how they were so happy to see you, and they made you feel really welcome right from the first minute that you were there. And that's what I like. There's some things they could do. They could make it like that, but I made suggestions, but we'll see.
That's what Oklahoma City was like in the early 90s.
Yeah, there you go. Another one.
Well, I
And
think
I
one
like,
other thing that's happened, I mean, I still step back and I honestly do not know how Camille does that. I mean, I talked to Sarah in St. Louis, and Sarah talks about her staff, and
yeah,
she's got a couple full full-time paid staff members,
yeah,
and she's got interns. She has
uh-huh,
a staff. Camille
But
yeah,
doesn't.
no, I don't. That's what I told.
really,
Yeah, that's what I told at the beginning. I don't blame any of this stuff on Camille. I just,
no, neither do I.
it's nothing to do with her.
I define the problem.
I think that it's the people they hired to put the show together because they was bragging, at least to me, a couple of people was bragging that they are the reason why the show is going on. Um, that, but that's them, or maybe it was just a big mouth person thinking blowing hot air, but that's not that's near there or me there or there. It is what it is. I don't want to worry about it. The show is over. I'm moving on to Gasparilla.
And we talked to when we did the director Zoom a couple months ago in November. Um, one of the questions that somebody asked me was, um, some shows used to have local residents could sponsor an artist, and they could stay with local residents, and
Yeah,
had programs to do that. Well, that was a question I asked the 5 directors we had, and the director said, I can't get any of my board members to even consider doing it. you know so they have to run things by the board members, and so it's like sometimes they're in a catch 22. you know and it was really interesting listening to a lot of stuff at the the directors conference last year, talking about board members and how they select people, how they, select board members and things like that. And it's really different. It's not at all what you think it is. And, the show directors are employees of the board. And anytime the board wants to make a change or go a different direction, the show director either goes along or finds another job. And
That's right.
I think sometimes that show directors are catching heat for things that may not be within their power to change.
You can say that. Perfect example of that is Naples, the National Naples New Year, Naples town. Because
And then you've got Amy Amdor, Howard Allen, and it's just upfront for profit. Paragon, it's just upfront for profit, and they give a shit about the artists,
Oh, Howard Allen
as
definitely gives a
as
shit.
long as the money keeps coming in.
I want to
you'll never
add
see you'll
Cindy
never see
Lyric.
one of those shows, come anywhere close to what some of the top shows like St. Louis does for their artists. And I get spoiled doing St. Louis because it's like
Right.
you go to St. Louis, then go to Plaza 2 weeks later, and it's like night and day difference in the shows.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So I know about St. Louis. I haven't been in Plaza for a long time. So you're telling me they're the opposite, that they don't think about the artist, they don't put the artist first?
Oh hell no.
I want to add the Sausalito. If anybody listened to the podcast with Cindy Lyric, and she was hired for the Sausalito Arts Festival, but the board basically didn't take any of her suggestions, and
Yeah.
it was basically kind of screwed up. I mean, it's I'm sure you could listen to it again, but that was a good example of a board not giving autonomy to a director.
Without even talking to her, I knew that's why she quit.
What podcast is that?
Pardon?
One of the
What
really
podcast?
early ones.
Yeah. Cindy Lyric was one of the great directors. She cut her teeth on
Worth.
Uptown in
and then
Minnesota.
And she also worked at Fort Worth for a while.
And then she ran.
And
She took
Sausalito.
St. Louis. Wait a minute. Sausalito was later. She took St. Louis and turned it into the best show in the country. And then she left and ended up in Sausalito and quit abruptly. Want to know what she's doing now?
And then she went to Fort Myers and quit abruptly.
Well, understandably. She's teaching, I think, event planning. I forgot what the subject was, but she's teaching in Kansas at I think Kansas State. Where's Kansas State? Oh, Lawrence, whatever's in Lawrence, Kansas.
Nope, she's in Manhattan, Kansas.
Man, that's what I meant, Manhattan, Kansas. Thank you.
She's teaching event management, upper level event management. She got her master's from a university in England and is teaching event management.
Yeah, sure.
Basically is one of the few places in the country that's doing it.
Yeah.
He was also traveling around the country selling Zap to smaller shows.
I'm going to say the best advice that she ever gave me, and I never had the pleasure of doing a show with her, is that if you don't like what's going on with the show, first year, you get it one more try, and after that, just stop doing the show. If they don't fix the problem by year two, just cut your losses and run. And don't talk about it. Don't say somebody else, well, the show doesn't work for you. You don't have to explain the reasons why to anybody. And just keep it.
she runs the mentor program at Coconut Grove, and it's a pretty good program. I mean, they do a lot for them. I mean, ask Oscar. Oscar had a mentee this year.
Yeah, it's the same program she set up in St. Louis.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really good. And you know, I make a joke about something, but I'm serious about this. I think there should be a mentor program for directors. Like you have to take Cindy's class before you can actually be a director because she's so good. And
The
you know,
I got to tell you, for any director out there, the director conference that Robin Barkowitz puts on is outstanding.
Yeah.
It was outstanding, and but she can't pull. I mean, there are 25 directors there, so
out of the 1,000 that there could be,
yeah.
that's ridiculous. Well, there you go. Now you understand what some of the problem is here.
It's like the early NAIA conferences that were show directors and artists.
Maybe it needs to be hybrid Zoom and in person because not
Show-
everyone can afford to go, things like that.
Yeah. But it would be nice if somebody had the money to do it, but Robin's doing it as a business. And it's not real cheap to go. You got the travel and you got the expense of the conference, and it's not cheap, but it's well worth it. And it would be great if somebody came up and dropped a few $1,000s in NAI's lap and says you do this or whatever, but unless somebody wants to come up and write a check for about 50 grand, it isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Or some entity.
Well, there's grants like the Wingate Foundation gives grants to arts types of organizations. And I don't really know all that's out there.
Grants I mean, you might as well write off any arts grants. They're gone. They're gone.
Well, government arts grants.
Most of that money was government money that
it's not all government money.
Okay.
There are look up Wingate.
Okay. Here's the thing. Grants go through multiple levels. And so is it directly government money? No. But a couple of steps back, it was a government grant.
They're not all good. Not all grants. Some are philanthropical organizations. So it's yes, there's a lot of government grants, but some are organizations that want to give back to the community. So it depends. And
West staff used to distribute government grant money.
We're talking about private grant money because all government grant money has been suspended. That's the reality of it, at least for further review.
Okay, so the Wingate Foundation, our work is inspired by organizations that craft equitable and innovative resources to help artists, makers, educators, communities thrive. And let's see. I'll just see how they're funded.
Hey, I'm in the Oscar. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to interrupt whoever, but I'm in the where am I? I'm in the Walmart parking lot, and I just saw Steve WeWork pull in. Anyway, okay.
So Wingate Foundation is out of Little Rock, private foundation established.
I'll catch up to it. Sorry.
Anyway, it's a private foundation. I'll just put a link in here. I mean, they're a well-known foundation, and I think they award money to organizations, not individuals, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm just putting a link in here.
I will tell you that from the people I've talked to about grants, and I've talked to some people that do a lot of work with grants, it's difficult for national organizations to get grants.
Have you looked at the Wingate Foundation?
I'll have to look, but I've talked to some people that do a lot with grants and arts, and they all told me the same thing, is that it's very difficult for a national organization to get a grant. Regional organizations and local organizations, much easier.
And these are specifically for the arts in
Yes.
general.
Yes.
No, I'm saying the Wingate Foundation is specifically
Okay.
for the arts. Now, I can't tell you, regarding national versus, but certainly worth looking through.
Okay. But
Oh, I know SNAG, which is Society of North American Goldsmiths. It's an international organization. They have gotten money from the Wingate Foundation. So, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out.
Well, guys, I'm going to let you go because I need to leave. They're telling me that they're leaving in 2 minutes.
Hey, Oscar, what was
Yeah.
the name of that place again? Wings?
I texted to you in a second.
Okay.
Because
Sorry,
Daryl knows
sorry, I
the
missed.
name.
Sorry, I missed your
What?
Oscar. Sorry, I missed you. Didn't get to hear. But
I tell you. Yeah.
You can
Okay.
watch the
Don't worry, I'll
video.
tell you later.
all right.
Oscar will be around tonight.
What?
So you're going to be around tonight?
I will try if George get me here back on time. He's looking at me right now like I get the fuck out of here.
Bye, Oscar.
Bye.
I ask her.
Yeah. I gotta go. I gotta go too for almost the same reason.
All right. Bye, Barry.
The
I'm going to have to get my heat gun out so I can rework my splint.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else to say before we close the meeting?
I think I make a motion that we vote Larry in charge of all finances.
I'll write a check for $50,000. You'll
There
never
you
be
go.
able to cash it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Is anyone familiar with the Orchard Lake, Michigan show in Bloomfield, Michigan? Does anybody know
No.
anything about that? No? Okay. Must be
Get a hold of Bonnie and ask her.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Message Bonnie. Bonnie
Okay.
lives in Michigan.
And she's been around for a long time.
Yeah, well, I'd like to meet her this Saturday at the garage sale. I'm gonna look for her.
She might have hot pink glasses on, so maybe
Yeah, I
she'll be
know.
easy to
That's what I'm
find.
gonna look for.
Unfortunately, she won't have her duck scooter.
A duck scooter? She has a duck scooter?
Well, she did last time I was there.
Is anyone else here going to be there?
Not this year.
Okay.
There's usually, if you're staying at one of the hotels that they have contracted, a lot of times there's a party in the lobby Friday night.
Oh, that's like there's just one hotel. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. They had a few. That's right. Yeah, we are staying. Yeah.
I will warn you, depending upon which hotel and who they're staying with, those can get a little out of hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think he's showing his age.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Anything after 9 o'clock is out of hand.
Court, you're from Missouri, right?
Kansas.
Oh, Kansas. Okay, I'm sorry. I asked people who were here 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I couldn't make it last week. About the Lohmeyer show.
Lohmeyer?
Yeah, Lohmeyer, yeah.
I've done it once.
Okay.
For me, it was a one and done.
Okay.
Um, it's
Why
in a
why was that? Why?
it's in a sculpture park on top of a hill. They set the more of a ridge. They set the tent up. Oh, they have a big tent you can be under. They set it down the middle of the ridge and they arrange the other booths out around it, and you're on a hill.
If it rains, the everybody
It's
you
on
want to be
grass.
in the tent. That's
Um,
where the people go.
it
They
is
go in the tent. Oh yeah.
set up and tear down is okay. Tear down is getting into your booth. As long as it doesn't rain, you can drive back up to your booth, but they don't let you in because it's got one-way paths and I think it could have been a lot better managed. Tear down, I knew it was going to be bad. It is a sculpture park. It is a pretty heavy 3D show. I've known some 2D artists do well. I didn't do well because I was 2D, but the year I did it, most of the 3D artists did really well.
Okay. Well, I'm
Not a
TD.
bad part of St. Louis. Staying there is pretty cheap. Um, I can ask somebody. I would look at my preference would be Webster Groves over Lohmeyer. It's at on a different weekend.
I don't know that. Well, I got that I'm not in it. I'm waitlisted to it. But I got into the Rittenhouse Spring Craft Show that same weekend. So Barry was um arguing against that show because of logistics. So I also to that at that same weekend I applied to the Art Birmingham. So I'll wait. I'm not accepting the Philadelphia show right at the moment. And so I'm still on the wait list for this Lohmeyer. So I'm just I've never done any of them, so trying to figure out.
I wasn't overly impressed with it. Like I said, for me, it was a one and done. Um,
And I'm
Web,
2D, I'm 2D.
yeah, Webster Groves is not bad. It's in the same general part of St. Louis.
Okay,
Um, Webster Groves is one of the more upscale areas in St. Louis.
okay,
It's on grass. It's at a college campus. Big open grassy area. Um,
okay. I'll check it out. Thanks.
Um, that's it.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
See you next week.
All right. Take care, everybody.